Hey, what is going on YouTube? Ron here. We are in the Marlborough. This is the first look video. This was actually captured from my live stream highlight the other day, yesterday actually, during update day. We streamed in the middle of the day. And this was my best game so far, a fairly interesting game. Now, I don't know if I had reverse CC RNG this game, but actually nobody shot at me. So just keep that in mind. I did create a crossfire here at B. A lot of people on this map like to especially this spawn, since it's facing C, like to lead heavy into C. So me being the team player I am and try to preach, I developed a crossfire at A there, and it actually worked out very well for our team. But besides that, the Marlborough is the newest Tier 8 British battleship to come to the game. It is a King George on steroids, as we mentioned. A few of you saw in my Marco Polo video the Citadel for this thing. It is absolutely massive. But in the meantime, we have a broadside Iowa. And I always like to have, you can't see it here, but I have AP loaded. Well, you kind of can. I have AP loaded, and I have gotten some absolutely blistering salvos with this thing, but at the same time, that was, 4 pens, one over, but that's average. I would say a few other battleships would have chunked in Iowa for maybe 30K, but the AP will do its job, but you do only have 14-inch guns, so keep that in mind. The HE is very good as well, and as always, stats and commander guide at the end. We will go over the ship in detail. But I just want to give my honest thoughts and reviews and talk about a little bit of strategy as well. I know these videos tend to do a little bit better, so I wanted to preach a little bit of strategy into this one. You can see that the enemy is heading to C. They're actually reversing the crossfire, but we're trying to peek over these mountains and get our crossfire ourselves. We mentioned that because of the way the spawns face, a lot of people just like to follow them blindly, and it usually ends up on a 6-on-3 on each side. Now, whoever's team wins that side faster, and it's generally the C side on our side, usually wins the game. So you just need to make sure you position yourself in good spots in a battleship and not be giving up broadside to too many players. Now, we do actually have a broadside to this, westernly side here, which is why we turn out once again. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the game, I'm not sure why a lot of people, I guess I just wasn't noticed, as you see another 4 over pen salvo. That's actually 50% accuracy there. We had one bounce, so a little bit better than 50% accuracy, which is a better salvo for the ship. It has 16 guns, but it only has a 1.4 Sigma, which for those of you who know about Sigma and grouping and those values and such, that is not great. So that is one of the drawbacks of this ship. It's I don't know. I had some mediocre games, I had some bad games, I had some good games. So I think it's a ship that's right in the middle. But like I said, comparatively to the Marco Polo, I would choose the Marco, 9 out of 10 times. Like I said, unless you're a British guy or something that like I don't think this is a real ship unless your grandfather or something served on it. I wouldn't choose this ship. Now, if you've got the funds and you want to spend the extra 17,500 doubloons, be my guest. But back to the game here, we switched to the HE. I can't quite see with auto aim and shots like these. I can't quite see where on the ship I'm hitting, and you're never going to be really getting citadels unless it's on a cruiser at this range. So that's why we're using the HE on battleships, especially on German battleships with, I'm not exactly sure, but I know the Ruprecht only has limited damage cons, but I think some of the German properties, they either have worse or better. I'm not sure of the fire the properties of fire, as each ship has a different chance for fire, as well as certain builds can affect that fire chance. Now, I'm not going to lie, I do put myself in a little bit of a tricky spot here. We have a Musashi in front of us, as well as 2 cruisers. And for most of this game, like we mentioned earlier, I was not shot at, but I do donate a large portion of health here fairly soon, or I think I actually get to turn around. But I wanted to showcase the armor for chat and that giant citadel. Now, this fight, honestly, if the Musashi had focused me, would have turned out a little bit differently, as we get a decent salvo on a destroyer at 14 kilometers there. As I've mentioned, anytime you can shoot a destroyer, especially in a solo lobby, you need to do so. We said yesterday that our teammate was taking care of that destroyer, and we actually died as a result of maybe not shooting that destroyer. So anytime you can take a shot at a destroyer, it is valuable. There was a good chunk, though, 4 pens on the nose armor of a Musashi there. We were aiming for that little citadel spot, but as we mentioned, 14-inch guns are just not going to cut it at this tier. In terms of the AP production, now if you get that guy broadside at 2 kilometers, maybe. But the HE is going to be the better bet most of the time if you decide to get this ship. A huge shout out to, I think it was a Republique or whatever that ship was in the cap here. So he distracted that Musashi, really. Again, I'm not sure why nobody decided to shoot at me, but if you can see, I'm still full health, like, 5 minutes into this game, which is, if I were to look at myself, I'd say, wow, Aaron, you're just hiding in the back the whole time. But we are literally on the edge of ACAP here, fighting Musashi at 10 kilometers. Now, I did say here, you guys are going to get a good demonstration of my broadside, but the Musashi just does not decide to shoot at me. Do not sail broadside like this in this ship. As it was a Georgia W. You guys know what the W stands for? No, it's not winterize, it's whale. No, I'm just kidding. But that is what you'll have to do to get this ship over the Marco Polo is whale and spend that 17,500 doubloons. It's a fairly, like I said, it's a good ship, but it's not going to be a great ship in any regard. If you get the permanent fires, if you get those good chunky HE salvos, yes, you can get a lot of damage. I had a pair of these against my Marco Polo, and they chunked me pretty good, but I caught one of them broadside at like 17 kilometers, and I absolutely railed him. So we have an AP salvo here, but if you look at that grouping, it's just all over the place. One pen and one shat or bounce at like 13 kilometers, which is just unacceptable for me. So this is, not going to be my number one pick, but it's a fun ship that breaks up the mold. If you really love this game and you want to spend the money, by all means, go ahead. But in the meantime here, our team is actually donating a few of their ships back, so we don't want to... I said on stream, like, okay, I kind of want to take a broadside salvo just to show you guys the armor as we get the Confederate there. So we've shot at 6 ships and done 20% of damage to at all 6 of them there. So we've been prioritizing and different things like that. And if we did not take the shot at that destroyer, we would have never gotten that Confederate. So keep that in mind for those metal hunters here. But we have the Musashi, and again, he only looks at me like 2 times, and one of them I think he just shot, or it's coming up here, but one of them he like misses, and we show armor angling, which is what we're doing right now. We're turning a little more broadside to get a shot on the Cleveland, and I actually think this is when we get absolutely railed here. But make sure you are angling in this thing. We will go over the armor viewer at the end, and you will just see the ginormous Citadel as we get the finishing kill on the Cleveland there. Honestly, we know that 14-inch guns, the 356s, are not that big, and there's a good example of armor angling. We're angled away. The Marlborough does have decent rear firing angles. They're not the best, but they're definitely worse than the front firing angles as we burn our way to the high caliber there. So, damage output was decent in this game, and damage mitigation was pretty good up until about, I think it's coming up soon. You'll see my face. I get absolutely blistered, and because I wasn't necessarily paying attention because this Musashi hadn't shot at me like all game. So I'm also trying not to lose. There it is. Yeah, so do not sail broadside in this thing. You will pay for it. So you do have a super heel, which is another strength of this ship, but this Citadel it will make up for not paying attention. As we mentioned, we got a trip of Citadel on one of these things with the Marco Polo at like 17 kilometers. The Citadel is literally half of the lower casemate there. But this game is pretty much over. Our team did a fantastic job, even though it was update day and we had some very questionable teams earlier on. It was a fairly balanced game, and we had good damage output getting that crossfire. Our team did a good job of securing the caps and getting the win, which, as you guys know, is honestly the most important thing. Yes, damage is important. Yes, getting XP is good as well, but getting a decent XP total and getting the win in this environment of the game is what's important, most important. We kind of skipped ahead here to the final kill, not wasting time as the teammate comes in with the hero shot of the burning Musashi to yeet it off there. We're going to go ahead and skip ahead to the scoreboard. I think we finish off this last cruiser out here. But let's go ahead and take a look at that, and then I will give it to Aaron from the past, to give you guys a stats overview. All right, guys, hold on. Nearly 200K, but not a good ship. Well, okay, but how many... We had 9... Okay, 100 target hits, 9 fires, 0 citadels. So, it's not... Like I said, it's not an awful ship. It's not awful. It has 16 guns. Anytime you can get 16 guns of 14 inches downrange, that'll be like my Saturday night, all right? But... just look at the Citadel. So what's the front plate? It does have 32 front plating, so you can bounce a lot, but look at this Citadel. Jesus Christ! That's the Citadel, dude. Like, bruh. Dude. Like, come on. Oh. Citadel, exactly. It is. Yeah. So you have a great belt. You can angle it. So you can be at this angle or this angle. But if you go broadside, like... Yeah. But we'll go over the stats. I might make that into the video. 76,000 health. The armor there, you saw it on the screen, 28% torpedo reduction. The guns, you are King George on absolute trend in steroids. 356 millimeter, 18.5 range, 22-second reload. Now, with the other Battleship Commander, the base one, I have 19-kilometer range and 20-second reload. But I think that might be due to inspirations. AA is 88. That's okay at the tier, but you don't be expecting, you know, to shoot down that many planes. It's not, with how strong legendary carriers can be, which is probably what you'll face more often. That's not that great. Maneuverability is actually decent. Tight turning circle, rudder's a little slow, but the speed, you know, helps you out there as well. 30 knots and a tight, that's fairly tight. 860 is not awful. Detectability with concealment 1 is 13.3. That is the overview, and the commander we're running, we just switched it up, is Azure Lane Hood. I don't have Nelson fully upgraded. That's the only reason we're running Hood at this time. And the reason being is Master Mechanic. Once you get her Legend 1 and 16, you get the 2 extra heals, and it does have a fairly good heal. So that is the reason I chose Hood over, Cunningham. This is the build we had on Cunningham, which gets you that 19-kilometer range with reaching out, and then the reload. I think I have D-Revel. So 20-second reload on those guns is pretty gnarly. Again, it's a balance of, can you position yourself well, like we did, even though I gave up 75% of my health in one salvo, so... Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That is the first look of the Marlborough. Let me know what you guys think down below. Are you going to choose the Marlborough, the Marco? Are you not getting either? Are you getting both? You know, let me know in the comments. Like the video. Subscribe if you're not already. Aaron out. Peace.